It's Stanley Cup Finals time. We got a rematch, but will the outcome be the same? Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Pucked Up Podcast. This is episode 93, which is ridiculous. I am Chris. I am hosting this week. Joined with me on this lovely adventure through space-time and hockey is Dee and Maul. Danger is not with us today. She had some family stuff that trying to go hang out with the kiddos. So we get it. Hey, bro, you got to do that. I ditched my entire community last weekend to hang out with my nieces. So gotta do it. You gotta do it. Thank you guys for being here with us on this episode as we talk about the 2024-2025 Stanley Cup Finals, which start by the time this comes out. We will have already had a couple games played. Who would have thought it'd be a rematch between the fucking Panthers and the Oilers? Like,
I definitely fucking did not.
No, that was not on my bingo card.
To be fair, you thought it was going to go all Canadian. It was going to be Oilers, Leafs. But after you lost, you did switch it up, and you were pretty confident in the Panthers. So I'll give you that.
I'm pretty sure I did say the Oilers are going to go all the way. So
you are the only one who got both teams winning right in the conference finals. Maul got both right. Danger got one right. Chris got one right, and I suck.
Did you get both of them wrong?
I got both wrong. I thought it was going to go Kane Stars.
Yeah.
Well,
it's great because all four of us hit all four possibilities.
Yeah,
we did. Yeah,
because Chris and Danger got the opposite teams right. So we hit all possibilities.
We got it covered.
We cover our shit.
I mean,
yeah,
for real. We out here covering spreadsheets. Literally.
Well, I guess. Yeah. I guess I'll have to update everybody with who we think is going to take it later.
Indeed, and we will absolutely be diving into the Stanley Cup Finals matchup. But first, we have some PWHL news that literally is hot off the press.
Yeah, incredibly fucking hot. So, as you all may recall, the PWHL is expanding this summer. So we are adding in Seattle and Vancouver as the two newest teams. With that, they had an opportunity to protect up to 3 players through traditional means. They will get the opportunity to protect a 4th through either exclusive signing or, wow, just forgot the word. And then also through, I guess, this expansion draft. Anyway, so there is the opportunity for some more players to become protected. But as of right now, I can officially announce to you all that the Boston Fleet have decided to protect goalie Aaron Frankel, defenseman Megan Keller, and forward Alina Mueller. The Minnesota Frost have decided to protect forward Kendall Coyne-Schofield, forward Taylor Heisey, and defenseman Lee Stecklin. The Montreal Victoire have decided to protect goalie Anne-Renee Despin, forward Marie-Philippe Poulin, and forward Laura Stacey. The New York Sirens have decided to protect forward Sarah Fillier, defenseman Ella Shelton, and defenseman Mika Zandi Hart. The Ottawa Charge have decided to protect forward Emily Clark, goalie Gwyneth Phillips, and defenseman Ranja Savalainen. The Toronto Scepters have decided to protect defenseman Renata Fast, forward Blair Turnbull, and forward Daryl Watts. So again, they all have 3 players from selection in the exclusive signing window and the expansion draft. After the inaugural team has relinquished 2 players, whether through the exclusive signing window or the expansion draft, that team will be permitted to protect 1 additional player, increasing their protected list to 4 players. Players eligible to be protected must be either under contract or the team must hold their playing rights through the 25-26 season. The exclusive signing window is June 4th to June 8th. So expansion teams will be granted a 5-day exclusive window to sign a maximum of 5 players. There is no required minimum number of players who must be signed during this window. Any unprotected player or any player on an expiring contract is eligible to be signed. So that means that there are some people who are floating, okay? The actual expansion draft will happen on June 9th. So this protection is ahead of that June 9th expansion draft. And that will be Seattle and Vancouver selecting a minimum of 7 players each until each team has reached a 12-player roster. If one team enters the expansion draft with fewer signed players, it will be granted additional selections to reach their 12. So that is the official announcement there. So here are the players eligible for a team's 4th protection pick, exclusive signing window, and expansion draft selection. For Boston, we have Sydney Bard, Hannah Bilka, Hannah Brandt, Emily Brown, Hadley Hartmetz, Hillary Knight, Shea Maloney, Alona Makova, Daniela Peshova, Jamie Lee Rattray, sorry, Jamie, I fucked that up, and Sophie Shirley. That is, first of all, Hillary fucking Knight being
That's
unprotected.
crazy to me. That is crazy, but I don't know that. Like I want to think of a way to justify that, but I genuinely can't. She's one of their best players.
I can. Yeah. So we'll see. There's a few other surprising names on this list, and there's a few unsurprising names. Minnesota has open May Batherson, Britta Curl Salame, Nicole Hensley, Clara Himlarova, Sophie Jakes, Katie Knoll, Denisa Krysova, Brooke McQuiggy, Kelly Panic, Dominique Petrie, Claire Thompson, and Grace Zumwinkle, which also
Grace
was surprising.
Zumwinkle does it? Yeah, it's like what?
Britta makes sense because she's been fucking up. She's gotten suspended a lot.
She's suspended a couple times, but again, like you're protecting Stecklin over Grace Zumwinkle, which I get. You want to obviously protect your top defenseman, but bro.
Yeah.
But again, that's tough because like we had said last week that it's a situation of depending on who they lose, can they go 3 in a row?
Yeah. There's some more names on this list that are going to surprise you, so hold on. The Montreal Victoire have available Erin Ambrose, Kayla Barnes, Abby Boreen, Amanda Boulier, Jennifer Gardner, Dara Grieg, Amanda Kessel, let that hang, Lena Lungblom, Maureen Murphy, Kristen O'Neill, and Anna Wilgren. Some interesting names there. The New York Sirens have available Lauren Bernard, Jamie Bourbonet, sorry, I fucked that up, Alex Carpenter of the New York Sirens is available, I repeat. Jesse Eldridge, Emmy Fecteau, Elle Hartgy, Peyton Levis, Maja Nyland Persson, Kaylee Osborne, Abby Roke, Gabby Rosenthal, Corinne Schroeder, again, shocking, Allison Simpson, and Nora Tullis. Alex Carpenter is available, y'all.
Yeah, what the
for a pickup. What the fuck is happening? For Ottawa, we have Ashton Bell, Gabby Hughes, Brianne Jenner, Jocelyn LaRoque, Stephanie Markowski, Emerence Mashmeyer, Manon McMahon, Anna Mixner, Katarina Mrazova, Danielle Serdachny, Aneta Tejrelova, and Madeline Wethington. So not as many surprises for Ottawa.
It's still actually. Brianne Jenner.
Brianne Jenner is a big one. Toronto Scepters. We have Kristen Campbell, Megan Carter, Izzy Daniel, Julia Gosling, Savannah Harmon, Reagan Kirk, Anna Kelbin, Emma Malte, Ali Monroe, Noemi Nubarova, Annika Renkila, Emma Woods, and Sarah Nurse.
Wild.
I mean,
unbelievable.
I guess when there's 6 teams, you kind of have no choice to give up good players.
Yeah.
Like
only protecting 3 is tough, but dear fucking God, we have the opportunity for some unprecedented lineups in the PWHL with this expansion draft.
Some brand new fucking teams that are going to be stacked.
Yes.
I mean, even players, you just skimming through players that are eligible during the exclusive signing window with Minnesota, Michaela Kava.
Yeah,
Maddie
Rooney of Minnesota. Yep.
I mean, even
Catherine
New York
Dubois.
having New York Sirens having Taylor Gerard available.
Yeah.
Like Jesus Christ. But again, like the league is these play Hannah Miller, Natalie Spooner for Toronto.
Mm-hmm. Jesse
Ottawa,
Compher as well.
Teresa Venesova.
Susanna Tapani also
Yeah.
for Boston. There's a ton of names here. If y'all want to read more about it, obviously it's on the pwhl.com. Please go give them some love and support. But I just could not get over that list that we saw literally just before we were getting ready to start recording.
Emma Soderberg.
I know. It's going to be crazy. Y'all should absolutely tune in at 8:30 p.m. Eastern to the expansion draft as presented by Upper Deck. We are going to see potentially what prevents Minnesota from being back-to-back-to-back champions to start off this league.
Now, do we know if that's going to be on the YouTube channel?
The great shakeup. I do believe it is. Hold on.
To YouTube.
And are we planning to watch it together?
I will not be available.
That's next week. That's right.
Next Monday.
I don't know the days of anything. But yes, you have your best friend in town.
Yeah.
Oh.
Sorry, I got some priorities, yo.
I can't find the article about it now.
Subscribe to the...
Okay. It'll be on TSN,
okay.
as well as the YouTube channel.
Cool.
So if you wanted to watch it on TSN, you absolutely could. Or you can watch it on YouTube. So that is our expansion draft update. We do because the PWHL doesn't want to disappoint anybody and wants to make sure that fans are kept up. They keep up with their superstars and stars of the week through all play during the entirety of the season. They don't just stop it when we get to playoffs. So we do have the superstars for May, and I will let you know who those are. First of all, our first forward is Emily Clark of the Ottawa Charge. She had a stellar season. Obviously ended a little short for her liking, I'm pretty sure. But she started with the scoring at 2:47 in overtime into the first PWHL Finals home game ever for Canada's first Walter Cup finalist. So she had an incredible run there. Our second forward is obviously Taylor Heisey, forward for the Minnesota Frost. She was incredible in their first round elimination of Toronto, collecting all 7 of her playoff points during that time. She had 1 goal, 6 assists, including playing a role in all 3 game-winning goals. Britta Crosalame had a forward for Minnesota Frost as well, had a nice run after getting all that suspension stuff out of her system. She scored the tying and winning goals in Game 2 of the finals, becoming the first ever player in PWHL history to score 2 such goals in a playoff game. The rookie scored her first goal of the contest with just 16 seconds remaining in regulation and then tallied at 16:24 of overtime to complete her 3rd career multi-goal game. Sophie Jakes, defensiveman for Minnesota, had just 1 point at the PWHL finals, and it was unforgettable. It was an assist on the Katie Knoll goal that won Game 3 at 9:47 of the 3rd overtime. Because remember, we got extra hockey, like 2 whole games worth of extra hockey during this run.
Combined,
so
they played 6 fucking games.
It's fucking insane. I love that for them. I think just further proof that they could do it if they wanted to extend it. Anyway, Lee Stecklin, defenseman for Minnesota, also was a superstar this month. She had points in 5 of her 8 playoff games and scored on 4 of her 12 shots, which is not bad. She had 4 goals and 4 assists during the postseason and became the first defender in PWHL playoff history to top the scoring charts, which is also pretty fucking cool. And lastly, Gwyneth Phillips, goalie for the Ottawa Charge, had an outstanding rookie season with an incredible run. I mean, her team may have lost, but she earned the Ilana Kloss Playoff MVP award for her incredible performance. She led all playoff goaltenders with a 1.23 goals against average and a .952 save percentage, which is incredible. She had 635 minutes and 25 seconds of action. And it's the most seen by any goaltender in playoff history, surpassing the 580-58 by Boston's Aaron Frankel from last year. So those are our superstars for the month of May. Lastly, we have our last 3 stars of the week as presented by Shark Beauty. Our third star is Gwyneth Phillips, goalie for the Ottawa Charge. I just told you everything that she accomplished, so I'm not going to repeat it because it's the same information, but really was quite incredible. Her regular season stats were she had 2.11 goals against average and a .919 save percentage during the regular season. So she upped those numbers. She turned on both fucking burners for that playoff run, which is incredible and good for her.
Yeah, 100% the reason that they lost games 2-1 instead of by
Yes,
more.
instead of like 15-7. Yeah.
Yeah.
Our second star, Liz Scheppers, forward for the Minnesota Frost. From just outside the goal mouth, a shade to the right of Phillips, Scheppers scored 12 minutes into overtime of Game 4 on Monday to launch the Walter Cup Championship celebration for the Frost and notch a unique playoff achievement for herself. She scored the winning goal in Game 5 against Boston in the inaugural finals, albeit in a less dramatic fashion, as it came 6:14 into the first period in what ended as a 3-0 win. The goal Monday night came as Scheppers' only shot at Game 4 and represented her only point of the finals. It was her second goal of the postseason, matching her total across 27 games for the regular season. She finished the playoffs with 2 goals, 1 assist in 8 games and raised her career playoff figures to 3 goals and 5 assists in 18 games, just 1 point shy of matching the 2-7 she has scored in 46 games across 2 regular seasons. And the first star, not surprising at all, is Maddie Rooney, goalie for the Minnesota Frost. She made 33 saves in Game 4 and kept Ottawa off the scoreboard until Teresa Venesova scored at 10 minutes and 9 seconds of the third period and went on to win 2-1 in overtime as the Frost collected their second consecutive Walter Cup championship. The performance mirrored her showing in the 2025 finals debut in Game 2, when she made a career-high 37 saves and blanked Ottawa until Jocelyn Larocque scored with just 2 minutes 35 remaining in regulation play. In the triple overtime Game 3 marathon, Rooney went a different route on the way to a 35-save triumph, shutting out the Charge with the remaining 98 minutes and 19 seconds of play. After Emily Carlo, that's just an insane fucking number.
Nuts. That's nuts.
That's like a game and a half. Jesus fucking Christ.
Absolutely wild.
Yeah. Rooney went undefeated in the playoffs with a 5-0 record and recorded 30-plus saves in 3 consecutive games for the first time in her career. She finished the postseason with a 1.75 goals against average and a .932 save percentage, each of which ranked third amongst playoff netminders. Rooney now has a career playoff record of 8-2 with a 1.46 goals against average and a .939 save percentage, which brings our total up to an interesting number. In third place with 70 points, we have Hillary Knight of Boston. In second place with 80 points, we have Laura Stacey of Montreal. And then we have a tie for first place. With 100 points each, Gwyneth Phillips of Ottawa and Marie-Philippe Poulin of Montreal have tied in the standings rankings. So curious to see what the league will do about that. But congratulations, ladies, on making it through an entire season, on ending your season. Looking forward to the expansion draft. Be sure to tune in 8:30 Eastern on their YouTube channel for that expansion draft. Back to you, Chris.
Well, thank you for that. I'm very, very curious to see how this expansion draft goes. One of these teams is going to be fucking nasty.
Right.
Well, on that note, I think we should switch to the NHL news segment and something that's really, really fucking cool. Maul, do you want to jump in on that? Tell us a little more about this this fun little remembrance.
So thousands of people participated in the inaugural Gaudreau Family 5K, which took place on May 31st of this year. So a few days ago, at time of recording. So it was held in Washington Lake Park in Sewell, New Jersey, in honor of the life and legacy of Johnny and Matthew Gaudreau. Over 1,100 runners and walkers showed up in person for the event, and another 1,300 participants virtually attended, according to the Associated Press. The Gaudreau family put on the event in memorial of Johnny, who is a former Calgary Flames and Columbus Blue Jacket forward, and Maddie, who both died August 29th of last year while riding their bikes near their family's home in Salem County, New Jersey. They were struck by an alleged drunk driver who has been charged with 2 counts of death by automobile. The Gaudreau family raised 5K raised money for adaptive playgrounds in the Archbishop Daimio School, a special needs school in Westville, New Jersey, where Jane Gaudreau, who is Johnny and Matt's mother, is a finance associate. Kristen, the family's oldest daughter, has worked at the school for over a decade, and Johnny and Matthew both volunteered there as teens. So it's nice to see that the whole family is coming together to raise money, and not only in honor of the family, but to give back to the communities that they're involved in, which is always friggin' awesome. So even though there was some early rain on the Saturday, it couldn't scare up their participants, who toughed it out and saw the sun break through the clouds, almost as if Johnny and Matt were there with their approval. I think it speaks to them as a family and how close they were and how everyone loves being around them. Ottawa Senator Captain Brady Tkachuk said. He told the Associate Press, "You see the support from the community and the other players as well that are here and traveled in. I'm not just saying a lot about Johnny and Maddie, but their legacy and the family as a whole, and how much they support because of their amazing people." Brady's brother Matthew Tkachuk, who was a teammate of Johnny for 6 seasons with the Calgary Flames, and Matt is now preparing to play in the 2025 Stanley Cup Finals with the Florida Panthers. Although the Panthers were unable to make it in person in New Jersey, they did organize and participate virtually, which is awesome. All of the players, after practice, and some of the staff got together and did their own virtual walk in Florida for the
cool.
Gaudreau 5K, which I think is very sweet. They all had their own little T-shirts that were in support of them. Looking at the picture now to see what the shirt said. The shirt said the Gaudreau family first annual 5K run and walk. It has hockey sticks on the back with 2 doves and the 2 hockey sticks crossed. It's a very cool logo, and I'm glad that they kind of did that to represent the event. It looks like the other players were also in attendance, both active and retired from around the league. The Philadelphia Flyers singer Lauren Hart performed the national anthem, and the mascot of the Philadelphia Flyers. They did this at the Gloucester Catholic High School, which is where Johnny and Matt played together. They also entertained the crowd, which was awesome. So fans also flooded social media with photos from the event of their virtual walks all over the continent as well. So a
That's
lot of
awesome.
support. The fact that they had a total of 2,400 people participate in a first annual walk is wild, because for those of you who know about like fundraisers and 5Ks and stuff like this, especially when it's the first annual one, to get any number over 100 people is a successful event. But
Oh
to
yeah.
pull off people all over the continent, and over 2,000 people got involved in this, fantastic. I do hope that we do find out what the total was fundraised, because I think that would be really cool to kind of see how much they were able to generate, and to see that the money is going to help a school and a playground and just give back to a community. I think it's a great positive way. And again, we say this all the time on this podcast, but this is another reason why hockey is a superior sport, because off the ice, it does so much more than any other sport. And,
Yeah.
and the community is fantastic.
Well, and if you look at this, it's these, you're talking about members of the Flyers organization, talking about members of the Panthers organization, as
Blue
well as
Jackets.
the Blue Jackets where Johnny played. I'm imagining the New York Islanders were involved, 'cause that's where Matt played. It's like the fact that all these other teams are even coming together to support, like you said, it's why hockey is so different, because
Yeah.
it runs so deep in all of us. Like there's no way to describe hockey, like the camaraderie of hockey fans.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And what an awesome event. And shout out to the Goudreau family for obviously what is a very, very successful and hopefully a recurring
Mhm.
fundraiser walk. We have some notable signings. Let's start with the coach signing first. We have a new coach. We have a new bench boss in Seattle. Lane Lambert has officially been signed as the new head coach of the Seattle Kraken. He replaced Dan Bilesma, who let's it's a bit rocky over there for sure. Um, Lane Lambert has a 61, 46, and 20 record in 127 regular season games. And 2-4 in 6 playoff Stanley Cup playoff games for the New York Islanders. Obviously, he was let go in January.
Mhm.
When spoken to about it, Lane Lambert said to the Kraken website, "I'm so excited to become the head coach of the Seattle Kraken. When it came time to writing a new chapter, I couldn't think of a better fit. Seattle is an incredible sports town, and I've been impressed by the energy of the fans every time I've been there as a visiting coach. This team has a talented group of young players poised to take the next step, and a core group of veterans with great leadership qualities. I'd like to thank owner Samantha Holloway, president of hockey operations Ron Francis, and general manager Jason Boteril. Botterill. Jason, yeah, you let us know how to say your last name.
JB.
Um, yeah, JP, for this opportunity. I can't wait to get started. I think this is a pretty solid pickup. Lane Lambert,
Mhm.
I think, did a really good job with what he had with the Islanders, and maybe this is just what they need in Seattle is a bit of a younger coach that's willing to make some shakeups.
I agree. I mean, obviously, he was part of our winning cup team in 2018. So he has some success there. He's been all the way once before, not as the head coach, but still, experience is experience.
Yeah,
And I think that Seattle needed someone with a younger mindset. They have a younger team. They have a younger audience base. I think that if they had gone with someone like um, they never would have, to be clear. But if they had gone with somebody like a Torts, that would have been a disaster. So I think that
oh
they
yeah,
smartly assessed both the culture within their locker room and the culture within their fan base and picked someone that I think will be a pretty good alignment for them. And hopefully he'll get more than just, 1 or 2 seasons, as we've seen kind of be the norm here lately. I'd love for some of these coaches to get a little bit longer of a runway to try and take off.
yeah, because you can't build something special in 2 seasons. It's just not realistic. I don't think.
Yeah. Not with the way contracts are constructed coming into it. Like sometimes you're stuck with teams that aren't going to work, either because they
Yeah,
have interpersonal conflict or because they're old as fuck. And like
it happens.
you can't really do anything about that until their contracts run out. You know what I mean? That's
Yeah,
I
just the
mean
way
that
it be.
that first year you spend getting to know the rhythm, the routine, and the people. So you
yeah,
can't do anything for relationship building past, hey, nice to know you, Fred, and learning their first names and whatnot.
Yeah.
And it's not like they have the whole year to be together. You know what I mean? And there's so
Right.
much that you can do on the road because you have
yeah.
so much more moving pieces. You know,
Hmm.
so it takes a long time to build the relationships, build the trust, build the ethics, and then build a routine. Yeah,
Hmm.
no, I completely agree.
Well, let's hope Lane gets a good shot over in Seattle. We have some
Yeah.
players to announce that have done some re-signing before the offseason officially begins. Marcus Johansson and the Minnesota Wild have agreed to a 1-year, $800,000 contract. Tampa Bay Lightning and Yanni Gord have inked a deal, 6 years, 14 million. Um,
Yeah.
33-year-old center will likely finish his career in Tampa Bay. Um, Speaking of nice little lengthy contracts, Noah Cates just signed a 4-year, $16 million extension with the Philadelphia Flyers. And Derek Forbert signed a 1-year, $2 million extension with the Vancouver Canucks. Am I missing anyone else important? I mean, on Friday, you had players like Josh Mahura re-signed with Seattle, Ilya Nabokov re-signed with Colorado. Kyle Palmieri, Adam Boquist both re-signed with the New York Islanders. Kyle Palmieri, 2 years, 9.5 mil, meaning he's probably got an AAV close to 4.75 at 34. That's a nice contract.
Yeah, that's a good payout.
Sure.
That is a good play. And I listen, former Duck, I love Kyle Palmieri. He's a great player. So yeah, it's nice to see some players getting that fresh hey, you know what your future is going to look like, at least for the next couple seasons. So shout out to all the players that got re-signed. I'm excited to see what the offseason looks like and how crazy free agency is.
God.
It's going to be wild. I can't wait.
We are not prepared.
Nope. The bombshells that are going to happen this summer with free agency.
Yeah.
It's going to be wild.
Well, and
I can't wait.
There's a player that I have a question about when we get to, obviously, the Stanley Cup Finals, that maybe he retires or maybe he comes back for another season, depending on how it ends. But speaking of cool things, you want to talk to us, D, a little bit more about the return of the ASL in the NHL market?
Absolutely. I absolutely do. So last year, if you followed us, we talked about how for the first time ever, there's going to be an alternate telecast for deaf and hard of hearing people available on Max in the US, which I think, I don't know, they just went through a rebranding. HBO did. So who knows what it'll actually be called by the time that this
HBO
fucking
Max.
airs. Why did they keep changing it? I don't understand.
Because I guess people
old
were
grandpa.
too dumb to know that it was fucking
HBO.
HBO.
I mean,
Yeah.
to be fair, it was HBO, then HBO Max, then Max, now back to HBO Max. It's just like, pick a name and stay there.
And fucking end it. Yeah.
Just fucking roll.
But anyway, yeah. It'll also be on Sports Plus and Sportsnet Plus in Canada. So NHL and ASL is an alternate telecast dedicated completely to deaf and hard of hearing community using American Sign Language. It was really cool last year to be able to see that. Deaf people often are overlooked in sports and entertainment. They obviously can see what is happening in front of them, but not being able to hear the commentary. I mean, there are so many times, especially in a sport like hockey, where the puck is moving fucking 1,000 miles a second. Sometimes you need somebody else to tell you what the fuck is going on, to be honest. And I would love to see too, for the NHL to advance opportunities for blind people to have better access to sports. We've seen a couple of things about it this season. I think we talked about it earlier this season, or we shared something about it on our TikTok page about tech that's been used in basketball that could be adopted in hockey for blind folk. But we're really excited about it. Last year during the Stanley Cup final, the Steve Mayer, who's president of NHL Content, said that they became the first pro sports league to put together a live broadcast just for the deaf and hard of hearing community, and it was a big moment for us. Since then, we've kept that momentum going by growing our NHL and ASL content all season long. That work goes into making these broadcasts happen is amazing to see, and we're really proud to wrap up the season with something special for our fans. So it will feature Jason Altman, Chief Operating Officer of Play-by-Play, or PXP, and co-host Noah Blankenship, as well as remote correspondent David McGregor during intermissions. McGregor is a deaf professional referee based out of Vancouver and has been guest on previous telecasts. They said that they were thrilled by the incredibly positive response from the deaf community during our first ever NHL and ASL Stanley Cup Final broadcast. We are absolutely delighted to return this year to broadcast the Stanley Cup Final to fans in American Sign Language once again. So they will provide visual descriptions of all plays as well as referee calls and rule explanations to clarify decisions made on the ice. A tactical replay analysis of goals and other impact plays. Graphic visualizations will include a large metered real-time bar that demonstrates crowd noise levels to viewers, specifically around certain events like goals, penalties, etc. Also included will be custom visual emotes to depict goals, penalties, the intensity of a hit, and whether a puck hits post or crossbar. So they've added some components to make the excitement try and equal what it is when you are live and in person in the arena. So I think it's going to be really great. If you are interested at all, again, it's going to be sort of simulcast, as it's an alternate telecast. So be sure to flip over to Max, HBO Max, I guess, and show them some love. We definitely want to see more things like this in sports. We want to see it become more popular so that everybody can have access to the sport that we all love.
Yeah. I am very much so excited to see these broadcasts and how they go. Um, because I think that that's cool that we're able to implement that sort of technology and that sort of exclusivity or inclusivity rather, um,
Right.
into the sport that we all love. Um,
Yeah.
that's badass. Um, so yeah, you guys make sure you're checking that out if you're interested in seeing it. I think that's gonna be pretty fun. Maul, my friend.
Yeah, it's me.
Let's
That's
update
who you are.
let's update these motherfuckers on the playoff standings.
Boy, has it been friggin' interesting. Let me tell you all about this playoff. So if you don't know already, by the time this podcast is out, we'll be 2 games in. Well, 1 game in, and then the next game will be the day of.
Day of, yeah.
Yeah, the Western Conference champions are the Edmonton Oilers, and the Eastern Conference champions are the Florida Panthers. We are getting a rematch of last year's 2,134 mile travel fest Stanley Cup playoff game. Because if we couldn't have the 2 furthest teams away from each other do it 1 year in a row and enjoy it, we get it back-to-back years. The 2
Double.
possible furthest teams away from each other will be going head-to-head for the Stanley Cup championship again. And let me tell you, it's going to be interesting because both teams have grown and developed a lot. They've proven that they deserve to be here. And I think it is going to be a fantastic Stanley Cup champion. And I don't think it's going to go to game 7 like it did last year. I think we will know sooner than 7 games. I hope 7 games because it'll be fun, but I don't think so. Now, predictions. We're interested. We did talk about that a little bit earlier. I want to point out one thing. Hockey fans, hockey players, hockey as a sport is the most superstitious sport on the planet. As much as I want the Oilers to win, they fucking touched the conference trophy.
Yeah, I saw people were very displeased with Connor McDavid.
Did they do it last year? Did McDavid touch it
No,
last year?
wait, yes, they did. They did touch it last year. No, wait, no, they didn't. They did not touch it last year. And the reason I know that is because this year when Connor McDavid touched it, he goes, "We didn't touch it last year and it didn't make a fucking difference. So what is it going to do this year?"
I mean, hey,
That was what he said.
That's a fair shout. They lost last year, so I mean,
it's a good line of logic.
try it
However,
again. Try something different.
That shit doesn't follow logic.
Right. So I think that he is trying to break the superstition because it's either going to go one of 2 ways. Everyone's going to be like, "Holy shit, he was onto something. They broke it. It's over. We don't believe in it anymore."
Or they lose again.
They're going to lose again, and it's going to further cement the superstition. And I don't think you'll ever see anyone touch that damn trophy again on either side.
Because
the other
they
thing I
didn't
want
touch
to
it in
point out,
Florida.
right?
Yeah.
No, because they learned from 3 years ago and won last year.
Yeah.
Because this is the 3rd time in a row that Florida
They've made
Panthers
the finals.
have gone to the finals. And they touched it the first year, learned their lesson last year, and didn't go anywhere near it this year.
Yeah, so I mean, why not? If you're Edmonton, fuck it, you know?
Right. And it worked for Florida last year, so roll with it, right? So I do think that was kind of interesting. The other thing I want to point out is the first time Wayne Gretzky went to the Stanley Cup, he lost. Next year, he went back and won. Sidney Crosby, the first year he went to the Stanley Cup, he lost. The second year he went back, he won. Last year, Connor McDavid, first time going to the Stanley Cup, lost. Second time going to the Stanley Cup.
We'll find out. So what does that
all
mean?
around. Is this
Mom, who you going with then?
I personally, as a Canadian, have to go with the Oilers. I also wanted them to win last year and was so excited that they rallied back to force a game 7. Let me pull up the cheat sheet so I can see who we all voted for.
Well, we haven't
update that now. You're getting this live.
Yeah, I'm getting it live. Yeah.
I was gonna say we have not made picks yet.
No, yeah. So me,
no, we're just updating
the Oilers. I am going for the Oilers.
Okay.
Shocker, I know, but I did pick them in the start of the
You
season
did
to
pick
go all the
them.
way. So
You're the only one.
I'm gonna hold true to that, and they've gotten this far. Let's just bring the cup back to Canada, please.
Yeah. Chris, what
Yeah,
about you?
I mean, I do not have as much faith in Edmonton as our friend Maul does.
It's more of
They're
like country loyalty, but
it's I just if you watch the Panthers and I mean just look what they did to a team that was phenomenal like Carolina, like they dominated. They forechecked way better. They were able to control the puck better in the neutral zone. They were able to force turnovers. And when they were in the offensive zone, they smothered you with shots on goal. They were always in your face. Any chance they had for a breakaway, they took it. And I think that the fast-paced nature of that team is what's going to secure them back to back and be the second team in Florida to win back-to-back Stanley Cup.
Okay. All right. I am picking the Edmonton Oilers.
Hmm.
Now, this could go one of two ways, y'all. I have been so wrong for so much of this that either I have just doomed Edmonton to total absolute failure,
change your boat, change your boat.
or because I'm aligning with Maul, I'm just strengthening that position because anyone who is aligned with Maul has gotten it right.
Fair.
So there's, you know what I mean? There's proof on either side of why this outcome will be what it is. I do think that Edmonton, they are close enough to taste it at this point. I think last year they just could not get out of their own damn way. They couldn't figure it out. And I think that they let the frustration get the better of them. I think, you know, we saw that footage in the locker room from Connor McDavid during the game. So I think maybe this year they'll come in with a different approach and maybe that's enough to seal it. So I'm going to say Edmonton takes it.
I mean, they are
Remember,
a lot more of a mature team, so that's
but
they have that
remember,
going for them.
Edmonton now has to try to win a cup without Zach Hyman, who's
I
done
know.
for the
He's
rest
done.
of the season. He's done for the he's not going to be there.
Yep.
So, do you think that hurts them?
Absolutely.
I mean, of course it
because
hurts them.
Look what happened when the Leafs lost their goalie.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, Hyman's not a goalie, but he's still a key player of the team. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think
I
it
mean,
hurts them, but I think that you know, courage in the face of adversity is
Absolutely.
sometimes enough to get the job done.
But
So
he's got
Last year
11
they did
points in
stare
6
down. They did
games.
get
So.
stared down by the Panthers and won 3 games in a row to push Game 7. So
Yeah.
they know what it's like to have their back against the wall and rise to the occasion. And I've said that all season long.
I think this is one that could go either way. I feel that way about most of the matchups in general, but I to be honest am displeased with either outcome. I don't want either of these fucking teams to win. However, this is what we've got, so I got to pick one, and I'm going to pick Edmonton.
That's fair. I mean, 5 goals, 6 assists in 15 games, a +10 with a plus minus rating, 6 penalty minutes. Like Zach Hyman has been kind of instrumental in a lot of what they're doing in Edmonton. So I'm wondering how much that's going to hurt them. I feel like I'm just not confident enough in that goaltending situation.
But hey, he pulled it out against Dallas.
And
Yeah.
what the hell was that, Dallas? Can
Yeah.
we talk about real quick how both series ended in 5? Like those were 4 teams that were kind of mismatched in the
Yeah.
opposite favor, and Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Put it this way. Carolina went into the game 2 9-2
Yeah.
Yeah.
in the whole playoff. They lost 4 games in a row.
Yeah.
They ended
Well, 4 out of 5.
Well, that's what I mean. Is
Yeah.
they went in 8-2, won the first game,
Yeah.
and then left 9-6.
No,
They
they
got
lost. No,
shut
they
the fuck
won. They
down.
won game 4. So they lost. They
Well,
lost 4 out of 5
3.
games.
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
They still ended their cup run 9-6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Florida shut them up. And
yeah,
I
it was
mean,
pretty
you know,
crazy.
as much as
And very
Yeah.
decisively. They weren't
Mhm.
close games. They were
They weren't fucking
ass
around.
whippings.
Yeah.
every single one. And it happened
Um,
with Dallas too.
yeah. I will say the big question for me is Corey Perry at 40 years old. The Oilers win the cup. Does he come back for a 21st season? Or does he retire as a
No.
two-time
Rest on your
Stanley Cup champion?
laurels. Yep. Retire.
I think with how hard they fought for this cup, you're not don't try to come back for the last hurrah to see if you can do 2 in a row. Go out on a
Also
win.
considering he's been in the Stanley Cup Finals, I think every year since
87
2020,
times.
like 6
and he's
times or something
lost
like that.
every fucking year.
Yeah.
Yeah. Take
Although-
the W, walk away.
Can we talk about how interesting it would be if the Oilers won the same year that Gretzky's record got broken?
Be
That
kind of
would be
cool.
crazy.
The karma in that would be
Right?
kind of, you know what I mean? Like they couldn't win until somebody else took over as king, kind of a situation.
Yeah. That would be
Yeah.
that would, you know what
And now
though?
the floodgates are open.
That might start a superstition that be careful because
I know. I'm gonna
okay,
fuck my
that's it.
team.
Starting right now, that if that happens, this is going to be a new superstition that whoever is the points leader
Yeah.
cannot win a Stanley Cup until someone takes that from them.
Yeah.
That superstition starts after the conclusion of these.
Although he was not with
Final.
Edmonton when he ended his career, right?
He was not. He was with
Edmonton
the
did him dirty.
Rangers.
And maybe this was their punishment.
Yeah, maybe.
Capitals will never do that to
I
Alex
mean,
Ovechkin. He will die a Washington Capital.
I mean, they did kind of scare the shit out of their fans.
Yeah, they did.
By sending out that
Edmonton-
email.
Edmonton has a Stanley Cup without Gretzky
Since he
left. They won in
thought that they haven't won in like 60 years or something.
no.
that's the
They
Leafs.
won. That's the
Oh.
Leafs.
That's the other Canadian team.
Yeah,
Look,
they
the last time the Leafs won, gas was 33 cents a gallon.
Oh my god,
A
That's
mortgage was
nuts.
$14,000.
that's crazy.
Yeah,
There was only 6 teams in the NHL.
Yeah.
they won in 89-90 without Gretzky.
Okay, but that's like
Was that
still
before he had the record or after he had the record?
uh
I
Wait, no, it
before.
was-
believe it was. I believe he had the record at that point.
Because when did he retire? He retired in
2000,
early
99,
2000. Yeah.
99.
So
99.
we're onto some here. We may be onto some, or we're stretching. And this
It's
is
the
just
only
us-
championship they won after they traded him, but they have one without him. So it's a
Yeah.
different scenario where like with the Red Sox and how when they traded Babe Ruth, they never won another World Series, and it was like no, this
that did
actually
take a
there's
long
no
time to
real
fucking break.
86 years, right?
Yeah.
I mean, think about the curse of the Billy Goat with the
Yeah.
Chicago Cubs over
So,
100 years.
fun fact, Chris, he did not. He broke the record on March 23rd, 1994. So he was not the sole points leader at the time that Edmonton won their last cup.
Oh,
But he was with at that point. He was with.
He was. But
Was he
if-
with the Kings? No, he was. That I think that was.
he was playing for the Kings, yes.
It was the Kings.
at that
Well,
point.
and that math doesn't add up because the Kings have 2 Stanley Cups since that happened.
No, but I'm saying if it's karma for his team not believing in him, they traded him away, and then a couple of years later, he gets the record that again previously thought to be unbeatable, except for maybe
yeah.
by him. And
I
then
don't know.
I'm just starting. I want to start a superstition. Let me
yeah,
start one,
we're
Chris.
yeah.
I'm just
I'm
saying.
for
I
it.
don't
I'm
know
all
if they
for it.
traded him because they didn't believe in him. They had won several cups with
Well,
him
for
there.
this superstition, that's how
But
it's
they
going
didn't
to
love
be.
him, Chris. They didn't
I
love him
think they
enough
did
to
love
keep
him.
him. Then why would you trade him?
I feel like y'all are grasping at straws.
Why would you trade him if you didn't love him? We would never trade
I-
Ovechkin. That would be so mean.
I mean, he's going to retire if he.
I mean,
I'm so.
Go look at the history of front office management in Edmonton, and you'll understand why they traded him. Um, I mean, it ended
So
up, you know,
I do want to say, I think this series is going to be very interesting
Mhm.
because the first two games are played in Edmonton.
Very true.
yeah,
And I think that is going to be really good at setting the tone, because if Edmonton can go up 2-0,
hmm
they're going to go to Florida riled up, and Florida's going to show the hell up because Florida's loyal as shit, right? I feel like these first two games are going to set the tone. If Florida walks all over them and beats them in Edmonton, not a snowball's chance in hell they'll come back.
Yeah,
They will be so morally defeated, the wind will be out of their sails. That'll be the end of it.
we'll
But
see.
if they
Anything
can
could
do it,
happen.
I feel like it's a good, strong chance that they can do it. You know?
So if we're forced to go to Game 7, that means we have hockey until June 20th
Yep.
because they're giving extra time between a lot of these games
because of the
for the length
distance.
of travel. Yeah,
Yes, I
because of the
have the
distance,
dates.
which I think
So
is
they
fair.
I
Yeah.
think this is the second farthest distance, because if you think about it, Vancouver is farther west than Edmonton.
Is it?
Yeah,
No, because
yeah.
I thought
I don't know what
distance-wise,
Canada
this
looks
is
like.
hold on.
Vancouver is as far west as you can go in Canada. That's why I was like, everyone keeps saying it's the farthest up. Like, no, but there are teams farther west.
But I also think it takes into the consideration the curvature of the globe and where they are located. Hold on.
But I think it's in history. So those teams haven't played each other. It's in finals history.
Okay, it is
Yep.
5,482 kilometers
So
from
it's
Vancouver to Sunrise, Florida.
2,541 miles.
Yeah.
So the longest possible distance between two teams in a NHL Stanley Cup final.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying, because the way I've seen it, and the way you had worded it at one point was the two teams that are the farthest apart from each other. Like, that's not the farthest distance though. It would definitely be
It would be
Vancouver.
Tampa versus Vancouver, yeah.
Yeah.
But again, neither of those teams fucking made
Which
it. So
no, I think it is the Panthers, because Sunrise, Florida is closer to Miami, and that's farther south than Tampa.
Game 1 is tomorrow, which is the 6th of June, or the 4th of June. Then we have Game 2 on the 6th. We have Game 3 on the 9th, Game 4 on the 12th, Game 5 on the 14th, Game 6 on the 17th, and Game 7 on the 20th.
which can I just say that I feel like this is kind of it's interesting to me that between games 1 and 2 it's 2 days. Between games 2 and 3 it's 3 days. 3 and 4 is 3 days. But 4 and 5 is only 2, and they have to travel all the way back to the Oilers for game 5.
Yeah.
So that I think someone fucked up math-wise there of planning it to be on June 14th. But I guess that they wanted to wrap everything up well enough ahead of the draft.
Yeah.
And everything. So it kind of fucks with timelines a little bit.
Yeah.
But just interesting that if we're forced to go to a game 5, then they get less travel time between 4 and 5 to recover, which could or could not work in either team's favor.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to
I'm
see, there
curious.
are no holidays in Canada or the United States that would be affecting those dates. So
It could just be a simple fuck up on math.
could be.
Yeah.
At first, I was like, maybe it's a holiday that they're trying to like work around, but no,
Avoid.
it's not.
Yeah.
Um,
We'll
the
see.
holiday in Canada is the 21st, so it's the day after.
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
only day
so
they
it's
don't
gonna
play on
be
is a Sunday. Interesting fact.
losers.
Yeah.
But I'm excited. Both teams gave a hell of a performance last year. They played a hell of a season. And as much as all of us are sad because our respective teams didn't make it, I think that if we were going to get a hell of a Stanley Cup championship that rivaled last year's, it would be a rematch.
Yeah.
To settle the
Also,
score.
how many times in the last 10 years have we seen rematches in the fucking Stanley Cup final?
All the fucking time.
Happened a couple times. So,
Yeah.
So I'm excited. I think it's gonna be good. I'm looking forward to hanging out with you guys, watching it, talking about it, and hopefully being able to go from 0 to hero and get all the way. Because
Be the only
if
one
I
on staff to make it right.
and at least I can do something because my fantasy team this year was dog shit.
Yeah.
So if I'm gonna gamble, at least I'm 50% right or 100% right 50% of the time.
that leads us to our question of the week presented by Small.
Hey, that's me.
Not Mario. It's a me,
No.
not Mario.
It's a me, got small. I have that recorded somewhere, by the way. So question of the week. The Edmonton Oilers have done something wild and crazy to celebrate winning the conference championship. They hosted and held a tattoo party at Rogers Place where all of their fans could come in and get a cute little Oilers tattoo for free. It was either an oil drop or a little like oil rig. And I thought that was kind of a cool, fun way to make your fans even more loyal, but also celebrate. So with that being said, with that, I just said that. What do you guys think? Fuck, why is that so hard? What do you guys think other teams could do to celebrate winning milestone achievements like this that is unique and different, like a tattoo party?
You're doing great, pal. Thanks for
So
coming in today.
I am going to take your question and refuse to answer it and answer a different question instead. I think that not only should teams celebrate wins, but they should also help fans get over losses. And I would love to see arenas host rage rooms after they lose in the Stanley Cup playoffs. Like if the Hurricanes, after having that really fucking disappointing outing to the Panthers, just had a fucking rage room and their fans could come in and just smash a bunch of shit. I think that'd be dope as fuck.
That would be cool.
pretty badass.
Very expensive. We'll be like, hey, you
Oh,
guys
it'd be
can
so
donate
expensive.
your own used appliances. That we can have a group therapy session by beating the shit out
Well,
of it.
Smash some
I
fucking
mean-
cars.
In the case of Carolina, they're about ready to go through a renovation. So they have a bunch of
Yeah.
shit that they could just beat up for
Yeah.
free because they're getting rid of it. It's all going to go in the dumpster anyway. Let fans have a hack at it before it goes.
There,
I
why
do
not?
enjoy
Or
a good rage room.
let fans buy it because piece of history.
So that's my answer to your question,
They're
Mo.
not tearing
So
the
what
place
was-
down.
But what would you think that they could do to celebrate milestone wins? Like for instance, Ovi hit the milestone of points leader. What could they have done that was unique and exciting other than like an on ice celebration to include the fans to have like a big party?
Well, goals leader, not points leader. That's a very, very,
Whatever.
very big distinction. If that's not a
Anyway,
whatever, that's a very large distinction.
You know what I'm referring to, dick face.
I think that you know what Toronto could do is have a whiteout party but with foam, like we used to do back in college.
Oh my
Since they're
god,
like the king of the whiteout,
that would have been
that
would be
have
so
an
cool.
old school college foam party.
Oh
I'd
my
be
god, I
down.
had a foam
I'd go.
party in high school.
I
It
would
was
go.
crazy.
But yeah, but like things like that are fun, unique, exciting, include the fans, make it a memorable experience because like that tattoo's never going away. It's stuck there forever. You have to
I mean-
explain that to your great grandkids in 20 years or 30
You can
years,
get
depending on how
tattoos
old you
removed
are.
now, Mo.
Yeah.
Yeah, but are
Common
you gonna
practice.
pay? Are you gonna pay to remove a free tattoo? Because that sounds kind of
That's
expensive.
fucked up.
You know
Yeah,
what
now
I-
you're in the
you know what I
negative.
mean?
Yeah, you're losing money at that point.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know. Honestly, I genuinely can't think of anything off the top of my head, but I'm gonna also ignore the question and just more so make a comment. This is an amazing thing. Hey, let me ask you this question. No, that's great. We're gonna
No.
I
both
worked
ignore the
so hard to
fucking
come up with a
question.
question this week, and you guys are like, "Yeah, fuck you.
Yeah,
We're
good
just
fuck.
gonna ignore it
Take- take-
completely.
Take your creativity and shove it."
Yeah, I do like the idea that Edmonton is doing this for their fans. What this is doing, it's creating good engagement. It's creating hype around their second straight Stanley Cup Finals appearance. It's creating just that buzz that you need to help your team finally get over that hump and win a championship for the first time in 35 years. I think that this is a good way also to help promote small businesses, especially if you're bringing in like a tattoo artist. You're going to bring in a local tattoo artist who likely has their own shop, who likely is always looking for new customers, and you've just washed the hands of somebody else and said, hey, this person's going to do your tattoo, check them the fuck out.
And on your way out, here's a brand new tattoo removal place that will give you 50% off a free tattoo removal.
Yeah, for your free tattoo.
A specific tattoo. Yeah.
They specialize in bad decisions.
They're a very salty fan from another organization that's like, I'm going to remove all those tattoos. I'll show them.
Dallas Stars fans right now.
Yeah, right.
People from Dallas don't know where Edmonton.
True.
That's a fucked up joke. I should apologize, but I'm not gonna because it was funny.
You're gonna get the one guy in the comments gonna be like, yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Spell Edmonton. Tell me what province Edmonton is in.
Saskatchewan.
Pretty sure it's New Brunswick. The Yukon territories.
Isn't that Europe?
That was a joke. For the record.
It was. Yeah. No,
the Canadian, what? I was about to be like, bro, look at a fucking globe.
Anyway, thank you guys for not answering my fucking question. I really appreciate that.
We did answer it. Kind of. We answered fan engagement.
Sure.
And I did give a legit answer. Toronto should host a fucking foam party. That would be
cool.
That would be sick.
The Hurricanes should just let us. No, I'm not going to make that joke.
No, you know what? I know where you're going, and I literally thought of the same thing. So I'm like, oh, well, you know what? They can at least go sit in a hurricane.
Oh my
Anaheim will just go out to a duck pond with some bread.
The Hurricanes are going to do a Mr. Beast video, and they're going to be like, last fan to leave the circle during a Category 5 gets free season tickets next year.
No, the Anaheim, you got to think Anaheim's in California, so it has to be something earthquake related. Has to be something earthquake related. Oh, well, you're welcome.
I mean, there's so many cool things that teams could do, and I like the creativity of it. And you know what? It's gonna be something that's gonna last a lifetime. It's those are core memories that you'll never forget.
Yeah. And I mean, think about if you do that in the parking lot instead of inside Rogers Place. You're looking at being able to have food trucks come in, have local businesses, local restaurants cater. You can bring in like all these activations from all of these different businesses in the area that not only boosts your community, it helps drive fan engagement through the team, and it helps drive up like fan tie-ins with other local businesses and being like, hey, I was there when they were giving out free tattoos, and I had this fucking restaurant, I can't remember what they're called, but I had this one thing that was amazing, or like I got to do this activity or see like this thing I could buy. And it's just it's a way of building a stronger community, not only within the organization, but with the city. And I think
but here's the thing too. Most arenas, if not all arenas, have a special subfloor that they lay over the ice to protect the ice. So they don't even have to do this in the parking lot if it's in colder areas. Do it inside on the ice.
You don't even need to do and that ice melts and is very quickly put back. So
yeah, but it's the painting that's the pain in the ass part.
Yeah,
the ice
a lot
does
of them
come
are
back,
stickers now, though.
They do, yeah.
Some of it,
a
though,
lot of them are stickers.
It's still a pain in the ass, but that's why, like, I mean, and I know this because I work in an arena that has ice and does shit during the season. But there's a special floor that you put over it that completely protects the ice. And yeah, you may have to go over it 1 or 2 times, but the most important part of it is to protect the layer of paint or the detail, which is like 6 or 7 layers below the surface.
Yeah.
So you could do so much things, you know. You could have a celebration, a party, and include the players in on it. Make it a free
Yeah.
event or charge people.
The
Bring in more
the
revenue.
the Ducks
Well,
do a
donate to a
special spaghetti dinner every year for season ticket holders. That
Yeah,
the
See, that's
players
another cool thing.
work. The players will do the cooking. The players will do like
Wait,
the
they do the cooking
cleanup.
too?
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
sick.
Ryan Getzloff was everyone's favorite because they were like, no, he is easily the best cook out of everyone.
That's so funny. I didn't realize that they did the cooking
they'll
too.
do the cooking, the waiting. There'll be wait staff. There'll be like the bus staff. The whole team works the event, and it's for all the season ticket holders. And I'm like, that's awesome. So that would be a fun thing to do as like a promotion.
Is that the level of rich that you aspire to be, Chris? Is to be a season ticket holder for the Ducks so you can go to that? Because that would be what I aspire to be.
Yeah, and you
TBH.
know what's awesome is my fucking cousin is a season ticket holder, and she's been to it, and she goes, it's like the coolest thing.
Well, so here's the thing: is it a full season ticket or is it a half season? Because I know some
Full.
places will do half seasons. Okay.
Full. But I mean,
Okay.
that team does so many things. They host block parties. They host like
Yeah.
street hockey tournaments with the
Well,
with
and-
kids that the players will play in. They do a bunch of stuff, and I think that's important. And we've talked about this on so many levels, but I mean, especially now when you're looking at two teams in the Stanley Cup Finals, like this is the perfect time to really kind of book stuff. Like obviously, you don't have a lot of time in between, but
Well, but like, here's the thing though. You could even capitalize on it in between games too. Like
yeah,
when Edmonton is in Florida for 2 games or vice versa, charge fans 10, $15 to come sit in the arena and watch the game with other
and they
fans.
do that. They
the
do
Caps
that.
did,
That's a
yeah.
that's a
Yeah.
thing that a
And-
lot of
well, that's the
arenas
thing
do,
is
or they host it outside.
Other arenas do that. Like bring them in because a lot of stadiums have the projectors to project on the ice, project the game on the ice. Utilize the technology. You have a giant fucking whiteboard that you could do so much cool graphical shit with, you know?
Yeah.
That's a great way to boost fan engagement and make more memories because you know what? For people like me who can't afford a $400 fucking ticket
Yeah.
to go see a game, I would absolutely pay $40 or $50 to go to the arena where my team is, hang around other fans, and watch the game together as a community, as a fan
Yeah.
base. Because that to me is still a great experience. Sure, you're not watching them actually play, which is the best experience, but I'm also not forking out a third of my mortgage to go watch them play
And
hockey when I can watch it on TV.
how big's Rogers Place? 21,000? 19,000?
So
You fill that
Yeah.
motherfucker up?
And you know what? Edmonton fans will show up for that. And that's generating more revenue. You're going to sell merch. You're going to sell food. You're going to give people more opportunity to stay employed longer. You know, all around that helps. And it keeps fan engagement through the roof. And that will help with numbers. You know, yes, you're not going to get the individual numbers, but you could always report that back as like, hey, we had this many tickets sold
Yeah.
from our watch party. And then they can include that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's plenty of things that you can do. And a lot of teams do a lot of this stuff. Like, I can't tell you the last time or if ever, if I've seen a team do a, host a tattoo party.
yeah.
So
That's cool.
shout out to the Oilers for being innovative and, you know, maybe starting a cool trend.
Happy now, asshole. We answered your question.
Yeah, actually I am. Dick face.
Now, boys.
Oh, God.
Well, switching
Thanks
gears.
for being our moderator.
Switching gears over to some injuries, fines, and suspensions.
Yeah. Well, we don't have any fines or suspensions. Everybody has been on their best behavior. Let's see if that continues through the next potentially 7 games.
Not
If
fucking
I were
likely.
to place a bet, I would say not fucking likely. Yep.
Yeah.
I agree with you on that, Chris. 100%. But we do, unfortunately, have some injury updates. Starting with Edmonton, we have Connor Brown, who is out day-to-day with an illness. It's possible that he'll be back in time for game 1, but it sounds like it's probable that he'll, at the very least, be back for game 2. He's just a little sick. Chris already updated Zach Hyman out for the rest of the season. AJ Greer for the Florida Panthers is out with an undisclosed injury, and it is undisclosed why he is out. I shouldn't say it's an injury. He is out undisclosed, and that is day to day. So I think that it's possible we'll see him back. That does mean that there are 3 people out for Edmonton and just 1 out for Florida. Will that change the results of the series? Who the fuck knows? Who's to say?
We gonna fucking find out.
We gonna fucking find out. So that's it.
Find out.
World's quickest segment. You're welcome.
That is epic. Usually it's not that fast. So we now slide over to one of the best segments that we do. Our obscure NHL player of the week.
Maul's favorite part.
I miss
I
that
always
damn
have to
duck.
mix up the air horn because you can't always do it the same. You gotta do it a mixture of ways.
I'm just glad that the only consistency is the duck.
Oh yeah, Danger lives for the duck now.
Yeah.
Our obscure NHL player of the week is a player by the name of Brad Aiken. Born October 30th, 1967 in Scarborough, Ontario. This left-handed left winger was drafted 46th overall in the 1986 draft by the Pittsburgh Penguins. He played a total of 14 games in the show, 6 with the Pittsburgh Penguins before being traded to, ironically, the Edmonton Oilers in 1990-1991. He finished his NHL career with 1 goal, 3 assists, and 25 penalty minutes. That being said, this man had quite the extensive career in the minor league systems, playing multiple years in the IHL, a couple years in the AHL, and his final season in 92-93 with the Raleigh Ice Caps, the ECHL. He retired after that in 1993. He was also briefly the property of the Toronto Maple Leafs, but was unable to crack their lineup. So out on October 25th, 2013, over 20 years after his retirement, Aiken was revealed to be a claimant against a group of former NHL players who filed a suit against the NHL concerning player safety in concussions. Which is quite interesting. Yeah, obviously he got to play on that I'm sorry, he had 1987, 1988. He also played 5 games with the Pittsburgh Penguins.
There you go.
But yeah, I was like, that math didn't add up. But it's cool that he got to play in the 1990-1991 Penguins team, which I don't know if you guys know this, but that team won the Stanley Cup. And it was their first of back-to-back.
There you go.
Which, yeah. So, Brad Aiken, you fucking legend. Thank you so much for being our obscure NHL player of the week.
Round of applause.
I'd say that will about do it for this episode. Thank you guys so much for being here and watching. If you're new around here, make sure you like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell, let you know anytime we upload. Also, check out the links in the description below to all of our social medias. Make sure you're following us on TikTok, Instagram, Threads. Make sure you're hanging out with us in our Discord server. We talk a lot about hockey. Anything you guys would like to add before we sign off?
I want 7 games and I want them all to go into overtime. Sorry about it.
Can't believe you just said that.
You're welcome.
The things this woman says when it doesn't involve her team.
To be fair, none of us realistically have skin in the game at this point.
Yeah. Now it's just for laughs.
Yeah, it is. It's all the lulz.
Yeah.
We don't have skin in the game.
No, you don't, Maple Leafs fan. Stop
Yeah.
switching teams like you switch your fucking underwear.
Our home and native land.
Gonna get
Sing it in
copyright claimed.
French.
Judy. You were like, oh shit, is he about to do this? No, not a fucking clue.
No. Well, as I like to sign off every episode when I host, peace, love, puss suitor. And we will see you motherfuckers in the face-off circle next week.